Welcome back to Grab Your Brew Coffee Beans, and if you're new, please like and subscribe. Tonight we've upgraded from monsters to something much more festive.
Mhm.
Ghosts, ancestors, and while questionable medieval behavior.
Yes, tonight is The Dead, the Dark, and the Season of Misrule. Midwinter isn't just Krampus chewing on your ankles. It's also historically, at least over here, the time when in many regions the dead felt rather close. So, across a wide range of Slavic, Central, and Eastern European traditions, winter, especially around Christmas, was considered a time when ancestors might return. Not everywhere, beliefs vary. We always say that, always varies, but the theme is very widespread.
Ghostly poppins for the holidays. Good to see family, even the dead ones.
Wow. In some places, families laid an extra place at the table or left food overnight. It's not uncommon, is it? The
Mm.
point was hospitality and respect, inviting your ancestors to share the feast. So, winter looks like death. It does. Pretty, but dead. Nature's dormant, daylight minimal. Scholars note that symbolism makes people think about the dead being nearer. I mean, it's not surprising everything's dropping, isn't it?
I mean, it's either the dead love a good roast dinner or hypothermia is a real thing back then.
Wow, yeah, it would be, wouldn't it, no central heating? In certain regions, ancestors were believed to move through the house at night, almost checking in on the living. It just makes me think of that judging your house.
I already feel judged by the living relatives. Definitely don't need the dead ones joining it. The 12 nights between Christmas and Epiphany, often called the rough nights, are treated in many European folklore calendars as liminal. The older year hasn't fully ended, and the new one hasn't started in a limbo.
Let's call it cosmic buffering period.
Exactly. In some traditions, spirits, uncanny forces, even the wild hunt that we mentioned last week might be about. So, people staying indoors and avoiding certain tasks.
So by the Victorian era, roughly mid-19th century, Christmas and ghost stories were basically soulmates. People weren't just telling spooky stories for fun, it was a seasonal ritual. I love this. I love it.
Mm,
And the
the
important
original
bit,
Halloween.
yeah. So ghost stories had already been part of winter folklore anyway, but the Victorians turbocharged it. And, well, they were obsessed with the supernatural, weren't they?
Which we absolutely support.
Of course. Newspapers and magazines publish Christmas ghost stories every year. It was expected.
We should
So
do that now.
I know, you'd get a Christmas
I'd actually
annual.
buy a Sentinel.
Yeah, I mean, imagine having a nice selection of Christmas annuals, and they came with, like, festive illustrations, old tales, and at least one ghost
Yeah,
story. It wasn't weird at the time, it was just a December
the
content
norm.
strategy of Victorian print culture, basically.
Influence would have had a field day back then.
Yeah. It, although I bet it wouldn't have been as easy to reach an audience. But hey.
Yeah, would have the pigeons would have been put to use.
Wow. Yeah.
Messages in World War I and II? Surprising, but true. In 1944, the U.S. Army reported a 99% success rate for tactical messages delivered by pigeons. These pigeons were called messenger or homing pigeons. They were bred and trained to fly back home to their roost. This was done by repeatedly taking them a bit further away from their base. This practice made the pigeons so advanced that they were able to navigate back to their home hundreds of miles away. There are other theories that pigeons were able to navigate using the Earth's magnetic field, but none have been proven. There was even a contest held in Australia where a messenger pigeon had beaten a car to deliver a flash drive to an address in Western Sydney 100 miles away. Follow for our next story.
And obviously that overlaps with Victorian spiritualism. They loved it, didn't they? Attending
Oh
seances,
yeah.
table turning parties, and trying to talk to dead relatives. And death was everywhere. Industrial cities, disease, child mortality.
10 things about Victorian England that would send us into an absolute coma. Not everyone is alive in this photograph. These memento mori or death photographs were very popular during a time where photography was new and people were dying very regularly. Oftentimes this was the first and last time people would be photographed because of how expensive it was. Would you do this? You would use arsenic lotion, eat arsenic wafers, and use mercury-infused eyeshadow. You would not want to be in London in 1858. This was when the Great Stink happened. This was caused by untreated sewage and industrial waste in the River Thames and a very hot summer. This actually forced Parliament to install these makeshift curtains that were soaked in lime chloride to mask the smell. Nasty. Medical science was progressing, but there was a lack of cadavers. In walks in the resurrectionist. These guys would get paid £25 per body, which was 2 months of wages, for scientists to be able to do anatomical research on them. In order to resolve this, people would actually hire guards to watch over their loved ones. Victorian dentistry was quite rudimentary, and wealthy individuals sought out quick fixes by hiring poor people who had healthy teeth for an extraction and transplant into their own mouths. This generally didn't work and would lead to severe infections, rejection of the foreign tooth, and a whole lot of pain. This very trendy color in Victorian England, called Paris green, was actually made out of arsenic and was extremely toxic. Factory workers who handled these dyes suffered from chronic exposure, would develop sores, and sometimes even pass away. Child labor laws weren't much of a thing, and impoverished children would end up becoming chimney sweeps. This was one of the worst jobs imaginable, very, very tight spaces. If you're claustrophobic, this job would not work. Thankfully, in 1875, they released the Chimney Sweepers Act, which prohibited the use of children in this dangerous, dangerous, dangerous occupation. Leech therapy was a very common practice. Honestly, this was a very common practice, like, up until the 1900s. Everywhere. But basically, if you were having a medical issue, just stick a leech on it. It was very easy to get condemned to a medical asylum. All you needed was a doctor's note and an endorsement from a relative. Husbands who didn't like their wives could literally just call them hysterical and put them in a mental asylum for the rest of their lives. They would give opium to babies, straight up, and they would turn their loved ones' body parts, like their hair or their teeth, into jewelry once they had passed away. Just rock it, I guess.
Ugh, or hiding under a shiny Christmas tree. But yeah, ghost stories were
Yeah.
just escapism, weren't they? It's
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a very morbid time, the Christian. I mean, you've got what is that house? The man that did the Smith and Westons, where she just kept doing seances
Winchester.
every night.
Yeah, the Sarah
Winchester,
Winchester, was it?
Sarah Wind, yeah, where they did seances at the same time every day, or even when we covered the doll episode, where they
Yes.
would have their dead children in pictures.
Yeah, it was a way of processing grief in a time when bereavement was just constant.
Yeah. So ghost stories were like the original grief counseling because they didn't have counseling back then. So let's
Yeah.
like make light of the situation.
See, on Wednesdays we could say we're counsellors.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dickens understood this perfectly, as we know. A Christmas Carol isn't just a fun ghost romp. I love that word, romp.
Rum.
Not used it in a while.
Rum-pa-pum-pum.
But he deliberately uses ghosts to deliver morality and social conscience. And, the spirits confront Scrooge with poverty, death, compassion.
Mm.
Basically, Victorian social activism disguised as supernatural in a Christmas special, basically, isn't it?
And it worked though, because watching Scrooge crying every December is now like culturally mandatory. Even if you haven't seen the movie or read the books, people know what Scrooge is.
Of course they do. Of course they do. And Dickens didn't invent Christmas ghosts either, but he did make them rather fashionable. And he tied the idea of being haunted by your own actions to Christmas kindness. Victorians loved the emotional violence though, didn't they? They weaponised nostalgia,
Yeah.
sentimentality, and terror all at once.
That explains my emotional issues at Christmas. Victorians did this to us.
Exactly.
They go from high to low, depressed to happy to hyperactive. Yay, Christmas! Oh,
Yeah,
it's
and because
Christmas.
printing had become affordable by this point, so literate middle class families wanted seasonal entertainment, and ghost stories just became an official mood. I mean, people sat by the fire
Mm.
on a long, dark winter's night telling stories about mortality, regret, and the dead. Communal therapy with a hot chocolate.
Oh,
Don't know if they had hot
Delicious.
chocolate. We could just say festive paper.
We love tradition around here, though. That involves emotional breakdowns and candlelight. Brings back memories. Very on brand for us.
Well, yeah. Oh, medieval Europe. As soon as you say medieval, it's like, God, what are they going to say now?
Yeah.
Just when I'm
I automatically
researching.
see myself with like one of those really long swords on a horse.
Joust. I shall
Yes, yes,
joust
that's
you.
what I'm gonna add a video of us jousting now.
Woohoo! I don't know what that was. That's not a joust, is it? Anyway, medieval Europe. Yeah, they included winter customs of Misrule in some places, like the Feast of Fools, Parody Liturgy, and the Boy Bishop, where a child symbolically takes clerical office during the feast days.
Huh. These are what historians call ritualized invasions. Children in charge? That's terrifying. Speaking of, what was that? We used to watch a show when we were kids, right? And every time I talk
Mole
about it,
rats.
nobody knows what I'm talking about.
The
Is that
tribe
the one
or
where
something.
all the adults died?
Yeah, and they called themselves the mole
Okay.
rats.
Okay, because when I talk about this show, like all the adults died and the kids were in
Do you know what?
charge
I'm
and
just going to
they
do a
had a
quick
little tribe.
Google. Quick Google.
I was like, did I imagine this whole
No,
show?
we
Like,
used to
no, we used to
watch
watch it
it.
on Channel 5.
What were the mole rats?
Showing our age, there was 5 channels then.
TV show. It was called The Tribe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Terrifying. We've seen what happens.
yeah. Oh, side note. I did watch a TV series night before last. British one called Midwinter the Spirit. It's so good.
Oh, yeah.
Really enjoyed it. You've got to watch it. It plays with the idea, although this isn't strictly what it's about, it's a key component, that when a boy bishop is present, the church might be spiritually vulnerable. Now, it's fictional, but it uses the same emotional tension medieval people were negotiating, do you know what I mean? Authority, vulnerability, and the supernatural at Midwinter.
That threw me off because I thought you had to go through a certain level to become a bishop.
You
So, is
work
it
your
just a
way up.
male bishop or a boy is a bishop
A
in this
boy
series?
becomes bishop for the ceremony.
Hmm.
I don't want to tell you too much.
What's it on?
I watched
I'm
it
intrigued.
on Prime, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. But I think it's a BBC.
Mm.
We will put a link at the end for anybody that wants to watch it. But I think it's a 3-parter, if I'm not mistaken. But I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
And while we're on TV shows, one of my favourites, Lord of Misrule. When we were saying
That came
Misrule, I
out
was
last
like,
year, didn't it?
I think it's a little bit older. It's one of my absolute favourite folk horrors, though. I love it. I've watched it. I can just watch it over and over. It uses ritual inversion, rural tradition, and the fear of darkness brilliantly. I love it. Obviously, it's fictional.
Sounds like all my fears put on one.
Yeah, but it's thematically perfect for this episode. It's really good. Again, we will put somewhere at the end for anyone who wants to watch it. It's another British one, but it's
Yeah, I haven't
fantastic.
seen it yet, but by how much you go on about it, I probably should go ahead and watch it. It's just finding the time.
Yeah, it's a festive nightmare with better cinematography than the Middle Ages could manage. Moving along. Scholars suggest Midwinter Misrule helped communities cope, like psychologically with winter anxiety. So basically, like chaos as controlled catharsis.
Therapy, but medieval and chaotic sounds again on brand, doesn't it?
It only sounds a few steps back from the purge, though.
Maybe that's what's wrong with us. Maybe our therapy is too gentle. We need somebody to come in and
Could
rough
be.
us up.
There's no tough love anymore because we have to be PC about every teeny tiny thing in the entire world.
Mm.
But over time, obviously, things changed. The Western Christian celebration of Christ's birth became fixed at midwinter. Scholars usually point to the, symbolism that it's the light after the darkest time because that's when things start getting lighter, isn't it?
So basically, like cosmic moonlight. I had a pretty vision in my head of that. But I do want to point out, and this is coming from a Christian, it has been proven by scholars throughout centuries that even though we do enjoy a good feast and we did jump on the Christmas celebration, and I very much enjoy Christmas, but it would have been scientifically incorrect for Jesus to be born on December 24th. Now, I know they had 13-month calendars back then, but even then, it states, even in the Bible, in all scholar documentation, that during the time Jesus was born, shepherds were sleeping outside with the sheep, and this only happened in spring and early fall before it got too cold. But anyway, we'll move on. I just wanted to
So
add that
that'd
in
be up
there.
to sort of late September, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
So either he was born in September like one of my babies, or he was a spring baby like me.
It does overlap with Roman midwinter observances. There is a
Mm,
debate with historians over whether there's a direct influence of that, because sometimes people do, cultures and religions do just share overlaps. It's safest to say Christian festivals ended up layered onto already symbolically powerful season.
yeah.
Like modern writers like Sarah Clegg. I don't know if you've read any of her stuff. Put a link below. Well, Leanne will. She wrote The Dead of Winter. It explores how ghostly and supernatural midwinter themes never really disappeared. They just changed. Do you know what I mean? Things adapt, don't they?
Yeah. It was pretty much like a ghost got a PR makeover.
Yeah, and many articles point out that Christmas is when people think about people who've died because it's a family time, isn't it? So
Yeah.
emotionally, the dead are very present. So the old ancestor logic continues, just less literal.
Emotional haunting confirmed.
Across many cultures, though, winter traditions involve fire, food, and storytelling and gathering. We'll add gathering. It's survival, psycho-spiritual, and literal. I mean, I love a good fire. I love a good story.
That sounds like a good Christmas right
I,
there,
I
though.
like a very
Pig on the
small
spit
gathering.
roast while we tell ghost stories.
Yeah.
Carbs and candles, the sacred combo, but it's all sacred, still works, a line still works. It's all sacred when carbs and candles are involved. Love them both. Someone told me to cut out carbs for my dad. It's like, dare you? I'll just eat smaller portions, thank you.
The audacity.
Audacity of it all. So coffee beans. Remember, December wasn't always sparkling lights. It would have been sparkling candles, though. In many traditions, it means ghostly vibes, ancestors' respect, and controlled chaos.
And occasionally folk horror trauma.
I'll start with Lord Misrule and Panic from there.
Perfect festive plan.
Hope you have an amazing Christmas, guys. Stay safe. Do not drink and drive. And join us for every other day that we post. Have an amazing
Yeah.
week.
Bye. Oh my God.